Hey everybody, I want to take some time and address a claim that's out there in the media. It's been propagated out by several so-called investigative journalists. These journalists are ones that have reported half-truths. I've given them the facts and they've chosen to ignore it. They have an agenda, at least one of them does, and they've been able to slant the others and make them believe that somehow there's something nefarious going on. Now, this claim has specifically to do with Phenomecon, which is a paranormal conference that takes place in Vernal, Utah in September. And the claim is that Uintah County taxpayers are subsidizing the conference, and that the team members at Skinwalker Ranch are soaking Uintah County taxpayers, that we're getting rich off of this. And the last claim that's laughable is that the county somehow endorses the views that are being shared at the conference. Okay, I want to tackle all three of these. These journalists, I've talked to several of them, I've given them the facts, and I waited to see if they'd report them, and they didn't. They still reported a slanted bias where they shared with you half-truths. Okay, so we're going to get the truth out there. And the truth is that anybody can go to Uintah County, go Google Uintah County budget. You can get into their budget and you can see what's what. Now, county budgets can be a little confusing if you don't know what you're looking for. So I want to take just 2 or 3 minutes and explain the county budget so that when you go look it up, you know what you're looking at. All right? Now, where does the county get their money from? Well, if you go look at the budget, you'll see that the overwhelming majority of it comes from property tax. Okay, here in Utah, the counties get almost all of their revenue from property tax, the largest share of it. If you look at Uintah counties, it's like property tax is the largest, and the next revenue source is not even close. Okay, property tax is based on the property value. Now, Uintah County only has about like 15%, give or take, of their land in the county is private. That means they're only able to collect property taxes on 15% of it. The rest is publicly owned. Now, the government's supposed to pay the county. It's called payment in lieu of taxes, or PILT for short. They're supposed to pay the counties money for the revenue that they're losing in property tax. But like every other thing that the federal government does, they never hold up their end of the bargain. So the counties don't collect almost anything on PILT. So what does that mean? It means that 15% of the land in Uintah County has to support the services for 100%. There's roads that go all over the county, even on public lands, but they're county roads. County's got to pay for that. All right? So property tax is based on the appraised value of a property. So the more valuable property is, the more property tax you pay. Okay? Now, the property tax goes into the county's general fund. And if you look at the budget, you'll see the county has all kinds of different funds. There's sales tax. There's other kinds of taxes that we'll talk about. I talked about PILT a minute ago. There's a little bit of PILT. There's different money that comes in, and they come in different sources, and they're put in different pots, okay? But the largest one is the general fund, and this general fund is pretty much what the county pays for most everything with, all right? It pays county employees. It pays for most of the services that the county provides. And the thing about the property tax is that we collect the property tax, and then the school district and the county have to split it. The school district gets a little bit more. It's almost 50-50, but the school district gets a little bit more than 50% of the property tax, and the county gets the other half. All right? Then they put it in the general fund, and that is used to pay for most of the county services. That is a tax. Obviously, the only people that are paying property tax are property owners. That is, the Uintah County property owner is paying for that property tax. Okay? Even if they live out of state, if they own property in Uintah County, they're paying into that. That is what a Uintah County taxpayer is. All right? Now, like I said, there's other taxes. Some of them go into the general fund, and some of them do not. Now, the federal and the state government have many regulations as to what money can be collected and what it can be spent on. So certain taxes that you raise, the federal government says, oh, you can't put those in the general fund. They have to go in their own special fund. And in that fund, you can only use the money for this, this, and this. All right? Now, one of those things is called TRT. The TRT tax. Okay? TRT stands for Transient Room Tax. It's a tax that's charged on any nightly stay that's 30 days or less. So anybody that's staying at a hotel and is staying there for less than 30 days is paying TRT tax. All right? Now, I owned a hotel for a couple of years. I'm very familiar with TRT tax. And the way that it works is the state gets like a certain percentage, and the county gets a certain percentage, and the city gets a certain percentage. And if you add it all together, here in the area, it's about 10%, give or take. All right? When I was in, I haven't owned a motel since 2018, but when I was in, it was a little more than 10%. Okay? So let's use the room rates that were in place during Phenomecon. So you roll into Vernal for a Phenomecon, you go and get a room at the Marriott, and the rooms were about $224 is what I was told. Okay? So the tax on that, 10%, would be $22.40 that's divided up between the state, the county, and the city. All right? This is TRT tax. Now, the county is not allowed to take this money and put it in the general fund. All right? It's its own pot of money. So there's specific uses that they can use this money. This money has to be used to help drive tourism, conferences, and leisure. So the county has taken and they created their Office of Travel and Tourism. Guess what their purpose is? So they have 3 stated goals: leisure, travel, and conferences. Now, leisure is like the festivals that they put on, like the Balloon Festival, the Winter Festival. And while those will draw a few out-of-towners, really they're focused on the local residents, right? They're there to help promote and increase the quality of life for the local area. Leisure. Travel is to bring in tourism, bring in outside dollars, and then obviously the conferences. To me, the travel and the conferences are basically hand in hand. Okay, this Office of Travel and Tourism is funded 100% by TRT. Okay, they don't get any of their money from the general fund or the Uintah County Taxpayers. Where do they get their money? They get their money from hotel tax. Okay, the taxes on hotel rooms. Out-of-towners are paying for their budget. All right? So, we've now established the different pots of money and what they can be used for. And the Office of Travel and Tourism, okay, is getting their money from TRT. This is one of the permitted uses that they can use it on. Why is that important? Well, every year, the Office of Travel and Tourism puts on about 12 conferences. They put on about 12 conferences to help bring outside money in. Now, one more economic factor before I'm going to dive into the actual details of my contract, how much I get paid at Phenomecon. And I'm going to show you the actual pay stubs, the check stubs from the county. Okay, we're going to be 100% transparent here. I'm going to get to that. But there's one more thing that I want to dive into real quick as we're talking about the taxes. Now, I had an economic development director show me a study that said that for every $1 spent in a community, it rolls over 7 times before it leaves the community. I mean, Bob goes to the hotel, checks in, pays that $224. The hotel has to pay a manager, the desk clerk, the maintenance, the housekeeping. In addition, the hotel has to pay property taxes, utilities, okay? There's a lot of money that hotel's dumping into the local community. Well, then the manager and the housekeeper and all of the employees of the hotel then take their paychecks from the hotel and they go to the grocery store and they buy groceries, right? And the grocery store has to pay their employees. And those employees take their paycheck and buy groceries and gasoline and clothes for their kids to go to school and pay for their local football and their dance, which is supporting another person. The money turns over 7 times before it leaves the community. All right. Hotels they're huge. They're a huge part of a community. Why? Well, as you're looking at that money going from the manager to the grocery store to their employees to the gas station, their employees, and it's sitting here going through community, it's circulating through that 7 times. Well, as it sits there, we trade money back and forth through the community. Some of it also leaves the community, right? I get on Amazon, I order something, there goes some of my paycheck that I earned in the county, out of the county. I go to Salt Lake and I do something out there. I go to a jazz basketball game and there goes some of my money. So unless you bring in outside money, this circulated money pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller because it slowly leaks out of the thing. So at 7 times, it that rolls outside the community, it's gone. So it becomes vital that you bring outside dollars in. Now there's one more thing. For that hotel, we talk about the appraised value. Hotels' appraised values are directly connected to their occupancy rates. It's a single-use building. I can tell you right now, my hotel, I pay $36,000 a year in property taxes. It's complete. My appraised value when I had my hotel appraised is tied to my occupancy rates. When they're up, the value of my hotel's up. When they're down, the value of my hotel goes down. Well, when you have property tax that's directly correlated with the appraised value of the property, if the hotel's sitting empty, the county's losing property tax. All right? And not only that, but if it's sitting empty, then there's less people eating at the restaurants, less people buying gas at the gas stations from out of town. We're talking about new money to add into the economy, right? Because this is circulating it through the community and it's slowly getting sent out of the community. You got to replace it. Well, hotels is a vital part of that. Okay, people come stay at a hotel, they're not cooking dinner. They're eating out at the restaurants, or they're buying gas at the gas station. They're from out of the area. They're shopping at our stores. They are a vital part of the community. All right, so the Office of Travel and Tourism, their specific responsibility is help keep those hotel rooms full, which in turn keeps the restaurants full and keeps the stores busy, and all of it is geared towards generating property tax, which is what the county operates on, okay? But the state says you can't just take that TRT and go shove it in your general fund. No, you've got to stimulate the economy. So we put on so they get the money from the TRT, and then they are able to support the festivals and the conferences. So they lost money the last couple of years. Their goal is not to make money. It's to take the money from the taxes and use it to put on an amazing conference that draws people in from out of town. No conference they put on, and I mean no conference of those 12 or any other event that's held at that conference center brings more out of area people than Phenomecon. Last year had over 35 states and like 3 or 4 countries that came to Phenomecon. We're talking more than 1,000 people from out of the area. Okay, they had to stay in hotels, buy food, all the money that was spent here. Okay, so vital, and that's the office's whole thing. So the whole thing of it all is Phenomecon's not being paid for out of property tax. Not one penny of Phenomecon came from the property tax. So the Uintah County taxpayers did not pay for that. Out-of-towners paid for that. Okay? Now, let's talk about the second claim that Skinwalker Ranch is on the take, right? We're getting rich from this. Now, I told you I was going to show you. So, in 2023, and this makes me mad because it was reported out in public what we're all making, but there's a clause in our contract that says it has to stay confidential. And so, we were pretty upset about this. Nobody likes to reveal how much money they're making at their paycheck. I mean, we all know at work, you don't go around talking about how much you get paid. That's kind of the unspoken rule. In some places, it's the written rule. It causes people to be disgruntled or upset, or they're getting paid more than me, and I do twice the work. All right? The fact of the matter is that people don't like what they make to be put out in the public. So by them talking about this and trying to portray this as if it's a dirty thing, you reporters are making it harder for Phenomecon to secure speakers because they're afraid that they're going to be trashed out in the public. Now, here's the truth of the matter, okay? Now, I got written permission from Uintah County to reveal the details of my contract, okay? Because these people are still out there trying to, grab my request, everything. So I'll spare you the trouble. Here's the deal. 2023. Myself and the other Skinwalker Ranch team members got paid $1,000 speaking fee. This is far less than we can get at any other conference. Okay? Our appearance fees everywhere else are much higher than this. The guys at Skinwalker Ranch have been kind enough to give a hometown discount. They've done it as a favor to me and as a favor to Phenomecon. All right? So let's just start off with the fact that this is less than market value. Your value at these conferences is based on how many tickets you can sell. And I can tell you right now, Skinwalker Ranch sells a lot of tickets wherever we go. So the guys are generous for doing this. So we get a $1,000 speaking fee as part of our contract. Now I'm going to show you the two check stubs. Okay? Because in our contract, we get paid for two things. One is the speaking fee and the other is add-on activities. And I'm going to explain the add-on activities here in a second. So, if you see right here, okay, you can see the date, August 30th, 2023. I was paid $1,000 and the description on there is speaking fee. All right. Look at the second check stub. This one came about a month later, September 21st, 2023. What does it say? Phenomecon add-on activities for the amount of $4,878.83. All right. So, I got paid $4,878.83 for add-on. Now, the way the add-on activity is general admission, people that buy a general admission ticket can come in and listen to all of the speakers, okay? But there's extra activities. For example, we have what we call behind-the-scenes dinner. We put it on, and the 5 Skinwalker Ranch team members, we go up there, we play some clips. The audience has dinner with us. It's a catered meal, and then we share with them behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on with those associated with those clips that we're playing of our show. All right? It's behind-the-scenes dinner. Well, our contract states, and everyone's contract is the same to my knowledge, and that is the way the add-on activities work is if we come up with an add-on activity, and largely we've come up with these ourselves, all right, then the way that it works is that the county will pay for the expenses. So let's take our dinner, for example. Our dinner, I think the tickets for the behind-the-scene dinner are $75 each, okay? And if I remember right, the caterer gets about $35 a plate. So per person, there's approximately $40 profit. Now our contract says that we split that with Uintah County. We split the net profit 50-50, all right? So of that $40, Uintah County gets $20 of that, okay? And we get $20 of that. And the 5 of us, the 5 team members, split that 20. So obviously, we each get $4 each off of those. I think there's like 300 tickets sold, all right? So there's $1,200 right there that we can make off the dinner. Well, this is the way it is with every add-on activity, and it's important to understand those add-on activities are zero risk to the county. You don't sell the tickets, you don't make any money, and the county doesn't spend any money. It's zero risk, all right? You only pay for the tickets that you sell. Now, this is really how the conference is funded, is through these add-on activities, all right? In order to try to keep the general admission tickets low, And if you go look at some of the other paranormal conferences that take place around the world and here in the United States, you'll see Phenomecon is a great value. All right, to keep the general admission tickets low, we try to do some of these add-on activities. So, based on the contract, knowing that I get 50% of the add-on activities, you can defer from that I made $4,878 and Uintah County made $4,878.83. All right, that's Uintah County add-on. After they pay me my $1,000 speaking fee, the county made $3,878.83 off of me last year. Okay? I didn't cost the taxpayers one penny, not one. I made them money. Okay? And I'll show you how I made them money here in a second. So, it was reported, I mean, if you go look at the reporting, you'll see some of us made more than others. It's because some of us sold more tickets, add-on activities, than the others. All right? Travis did a couple dinners. Why did Travis do a couple dinners? Well, he agreed to do one, and it sold out like that. And there was a list a mile long of people that wanted to have dinner with Travis. They're traveling from all over the country, all over the world, and they want to go and have dinner with Travis. And these dinners are restricted. They're kind of an intimate setting. It's like 15, 20 people, right? So it's a chance to rub shoulders with these guys. Well, Uintah County, or the Phenomecon committee, asked Travis, hey, would you be willing to do a couple more dinners? So he agreed. So he sold more tickets than maybe some of the rest of us. Okay, so Travis made the county even more money than I did. Because, again, our speaking fee is not where we're making the money. It's the add-on activities. Now, take that and times that by 5 members. We're just shy of $4,000 there. Travis made a little bit more. Skinwalker Ranch Team alone made Uintah County, made the Phenomecon event about $20,000. And guess what? All the speakers, our contracts say that they'll cover the travel costs, the lodging costs, per diem, food, rental car, okay? Because we're already here filming for our TV show, the county doesn't have to pay for our airline tickets. They don't have to pay for our hotel. They don't have to pay for a rental car. They don't have to pay to feed us. So we are cheaper than almost every other speaker that's at the convention, because almost every other speaker has to be flown in, has to be put up at a hotel for $224 a night. Okay, do that math times 4 or 5 nights. Usually we need them here a day early just in case their flight gets delayed, so that we've got a little buffer zone. So, you know, the conference may be 4 days, but we're paying for 5 days of hotel. So Skinwalker Ranch isn't charging that to they don't have to pay for that. So our money, that $20,000, is helping pay for the travel costs and the lodging costs of the other speakers, and to help put on the conference. That's where our money's going. We're we're putting money in there. All right? Now, one last thing and then I'm done. And this one last thing is that years ago, Uintah County built that beautiful conference center that we hold Phenomecon in for $26 million. And they were able to use other pots of money besides the general fund to build that. Okay, so Uintah County taxpayers didn't have to pay the $26 million for the building. They were able to secure that money through grants and some of the tax revenue off of the oil sales and mineral lease money and stuff like that. So this didn't come from the taxpayers. But what the taxpayers are on the hook for is every year the O&M, or the money to operate the conference center, is about $300,000 a year. Okay? This money, if this money does come out of the general fund, so that the general fund is on the hook for this money. Okay? So if they can't raise money any other way at that conference center, taxpayers have to pay for that. Now here's the thing. Last year, Phenomecon was able to rent the building from the county, and they paid them $5,000 for the use of the building. All right? Where'd that $5,000 come from? Came from TRT. All right? It's one of the permitted uses. Anybody that's familiar with budgets will know that sometimes you have a line item here and a line item there, and sometimes, like, you can't spend this line item over here. There are legal ways that some of this TRT money can help the taxpayers with this stuff. Well, one of the ways is by renting the conference center. Let's talk about those 12 conferences that the Travel and Tourism Board puts on. They're able to rent that building from the county. They can pay them money, and all of that money chips away at that $300,000. So for every penny that they're able to pay to rent that building, that's less that the taxpayers in Uintah County are on the hook for. All right? So do they care that they went $20,000 deficit? No, because that just came out of the TRT tax, and they're able to pay an honest rent for the building, and it in turn makes it less that has to come out of the general fund, which is funded by the Uintah County taxpayers. Are you guys following me here? So Phenomecon is helping take money off the shoulders of Uintah County, not put it on them. They're not on the hook for it, okay? One last thing. I went into detail to tell you about the seven, okay? Last year, direct spending for Phenomecon was $1.1 million. I don't know why I always forget the I. $1.1 million. Direct spending, okay? So when you take that and times that by that economic factor of 7, that the smart people say is the number, okay? What was the economic impact of Phenomecon? In 1 year, $7.7 million. You know how vital that is to a small community, okay? Phenomecon has been a huge blessing to the local area. Skinwalker Ranch and the team members have been so gracious with their time. You say, oh, well, yeah, you're getting $5,000. It takes a ton of energy. We are all dragging because our filming season is so grueling. We're all sleep deprived. We're all just barely hanging in there. So the thought, I don't care how much I'm getting paid, the thought of having to go expend a ton of energy and interact with thousands of people, it's exhausting. We love it. Like, we love interacting with our fans. But the point is the guys could be making a lot more money doing this at other conferences, all right? And they're doing this solely out of the goodness of their heart to benefit the local area. So let's cut them a break and let's quit trashing them in public. And you, several investigative reporters that are trying to come after us, shame on you. Go find some other county to feel bad for. We're doing just fine. Not one of you live here, and to my knowledge, not one of you has ever lived here, and to my knowledge, none of you own property here. So out of all the problems in the country, go find a different problem to tackle and leave us the hell alone, okay? Appreciate for all of you that are still listening. Thank you. Hopefully you learned a little bit today of how tax dollars are raised and how they're spent, and the truth behind Phenomecon. It's a wonderful thing, and I hope to see you guys there this upcoming September. It's going to be amazing.